Alright, so we're checking out the BETAFPV Meteor65 Pro 04 edition. So this is the first of all many 04 micros that will be appearing on the channel here soon. And before you start screaming down in the comments as to where's X and Y, Z video, let me know which ones you're interested in, and I'll try and rearrange the schedule to accommodate the levels of interest. So I'm planning on reviewing the Meteor75 Pro 04 and also the Pavo Femto, which is an 04 micro from BETAFPV pretty soon, as well as some of the Flywoo ones that I know about and the Happy Model Mobula 704, which is a 2S, not a 1S. So those are all coming, and a bunch of other ones. So if there's something in particular you're really wanting to see first, let me know in the comments and I'll try and rearrange the schedule. But this is the first that's going to show up here, and I will have additional content on some of these like parts and stuff that I'll talk about here in a second on the second channel as well. So there's a lot of extra DJI 04 content over on the second channel. So if you're wondering about that, I'll link the second channel and the playlist down in the video description as well. So the Meteor65 Pro itself has been around for a while. It's basically the 35mm prop version of the Meteor65 with the updated frame. This new 04 edition comes with this transparent gray frame. That's a new color. Of course, you know, the other colors like the white and the green, blue, etc., those are all still available on the website. So if you don't like the frame color, you can always swap that out. The motors on here are the 0802 19,500 kV, the blue and silver belled ones, and of course the same 35mm gem fan propeller. They haven't changed as much since they came out. The props do still pop off in crashes because they are not super tight. I'm not sure why Gemfan hasn't fixed that yet, but that's still there. I've crashed this a couple of times. No damage to anything, just in flying around in the house. So nothing, not a huge crash or anything like that. But for those of you wondering if the 04 board will just fry itself in a minor crash like some HD0 boards have in the past, that's not the case. At least I haven't experienced it yet. It seems like this canopy here should do the job in terms of keeping it safe. Of course, you know, every crash is different. So, of course, the harder you crash, the more likely things will break. Yeah. So the big thing that's new here is the Matrix 1S HD. In this case, this is the 3-in-1, which has the Express LRS receiver, the 4-in-1 ESC, and the flight controller all in one. And this has the 5-volt, 3-amp BEC that is going to be needed for this 1S setup because the 04 Lite VTX here, this air unit, really starts having issues below around 3.5 volts. Now that's going to be higher for some boards and lower for some boards. I did testing on the second channel on a 1S setup where I lost video at like 3.2 volts. So I've seen other people lose video at 2.9 volts, and some other people said they lost video at 3.6 volts. So the 1S going directly to the battery to the VTX is not really recommended. This is why you have the new Matrix board. It provides a consistent 3 amps and 5 volts all the way down to like 2.85 volts. So if you take the battery all the way down to as low as you want, if you like puffing your batteries, and it will keep the video signal alive. And as far as I know, this Matrix board is the only one that actually works. There's a lot of boards out there that'll say they're rated for 2 amps or 3 amps, but this one here is specifically designed for the 04 Lite, and it will provide the necessary voltage and current all the way down to 2.85 volts. And I did test that, and that is actually true. A lot of other boards I've tested that they say they're 2 amps or 3 amps, it's not actually rated for that, and I've had issues getting those boards to work with the 04 Lite. This is the only one, as of right now, it's January 2025, that works correctly with the 04 Lite. Of course, you're watching this video in the future. I'm sure there's going to be some new parts out there. Please let me know down in the comments what has come out that I don't know about yet. So that's new. The canopy and this camera mount is also new for all of basically their new micros are for 04 right now. And I know Fly was coming up with their own sort of camera mount. This one here is kind of interesting. So I'm going to take this off here in a second. I'll show you, but basically, it is a dampened camera mount, and you won't see it really well until I take it out. I'll show you that in a second. But you see these little rubber balls here? Looks like little rubber bands here and here. And there's a two-piece of plastic here that holds this camera. And there's a front part that clips into the lens, and then there's this back part that's held in by these 4 silicone rubber bands. And just to show you what the parts look like, this is what they look like. So there's these 2 parts like this. So there's this back part with the M2 screw, and then there's this front part that holds the lens, and then you can see where these little hooks are, right here and here. That's where you put those little rubber bands or silicone dampeners, and you get 4 of them like this. That's what they look like. It's really tiny and probably super easy to lose. Now, if you buy a canopy by itself, so this also comes in different colors: black, white, green, purple, yellow. I don't remember all the exact colors off the top of my head, but the other colors are available. I'm sure they'll make more in the future. But if you buy the canopy by itself, you get the canopy. This weighs about 1 gram, and you get the camera mount stuff that goes inside there. So you got the M2 screws and the little rubber bands there, the little dampeners. And then you get the 2 camera holders itself, as well as you get some grommets there for mounting the flight controller and longer screws. So if you happen to damage your canopy or lose some of the parts, this canopy seems to come with pretty much everything. And then for those of you wondering, the 2 plastic camera holders plus the rubber dampeners together is about 0.8 of a gram. Yeah, but basically putting this together is really simple. There's just the same little 6-pin plug here, this little SH1.0 connector, and then that goes to the matrix board right there. And I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and take this off. So there's these 4 self-tapping screws that go into the frame itself. So that's what they look like here, and they come with the canopy. And it goes through the 04 light air unit and the flight controller. So I'll pull the canopy off. I'm going to take this M2 screw off of here so we can get the camera out of the canopy. Alright, so that frees the canopy. So this is of course the white one. And here is, well, I gotta take one more screw out over here, but this is the camera is free here. And you can see, I'm not sure if the lighting is going to be best or if it'll focus, but you can see how this back part here, where it's actually being held by the canopy, is separated from the front part here, where the lens is actually held in. So you can see how it has a dampening effect. Now, this isn't perfect. It's definitely better than nothing in terms of soft mounting it, because you will need that for correct gyro flow stabilization. You'll see from the footage that there is still some vibrations that get through. Perhaps they could tune the rubber dampeners, maybe make them either more stiff or less stiff. They could be very also temperature sensitive. It wasn't too cold. It was maybe like 55 degrees on the day I flew, where you're seeing that footage from the park. And but yeah, you can see how this basically floats. And then for those of you who are wondering, the actual mount part where the screws go into the side here. So this you have these little metal screw hole. So the width of this is actually 19 millimeters. So this should go into any frame that uses a 19 millimeter mount, although the distance from the screw hole to the front here isn't a lot. Yeah, it looks like about 8.5 millimeters from the front of the lens to the middle of the screw hole. Now for the 04 air unit, it pretty much looks the same cable. I don't see any difference here. This antenna is a little bit shorter than the retail version, so maybe they didn't want the antenna sticking out of the hole here too much and flopping around and getting caught in the props. That's probably why they went with a shorter one. And yeah, other than that, it looks all the same. The rubber grommets here, the silicone grommets, are white instead of black. The retail version comes with black ones. All right, got the last screw out, and then now the whole 04 area just kind of pulls out like this. And this black cable here is also different. The retail version comes with colored cables here, wires. They're all black for this one. It's, I guess, for aesthetics and looks, but that's about how long it is. Not very long. And you can see it's just long enough so that there's no slack and there's no vibrations getting through. You don't want vibrations getting through, so it's basically just long enough for this particular model. So if you're looking to put this into something else, then you might want to use a different cable. But see, there's that connector there that is unique to the Matrix, and the Express LRS receiver is on board, of course, but the antenna is on the other side. So it's over here. It comes out over here, and then it goes back. So battery just kind of block it. You may want to adjust that if you want better range. Maybe have it come out this side over here this way. I may do that myself, but I'm just flying it at the park and didn't have any issues like where the RSSI was getting too low. So I mean, you're not going to get that far away. I'll talk about the flight time and characteristics here momentarily. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this is what it looks like. 12 amp ESCs. It's got BlueJay firmware. I think it bursts to 18 amps, so you could put this into something else, which is what I'm planning on doing. So it's a very nice little compact setup here. So you can Okay, so let's talk about the flight time. I think that's the biggest limitation of this model, is the fact that you're only going to get, well, they're advertising about 2 minutes and 40 seconds of flight time. I was just doing circles around in my living room, and I got 2 minutes and 50 seconds of flight time, including a few crashes. So theory, if you're just cruising around indoors, you can probably stretch it out to 3 minutes if you're using the whole battery. And I was using the Lava Lipo, though this is the 1S BETAFPV Lava Lipo, the BT 2.0 connector. I just peeled the sticker off on this one here. If you want more flight time, you can go to the 1S 550 Lipo. So this here, of course, it doesn't fit in the tray, but what I did was I just used a rubber band and I looped it underneath here like this, and then held the battery on the bottom like so. And that's the flight that you saw, I think yesterday on the second channel, the flight at the park. And if you use the 1S 550 and use pretty much the whole battery, you're going to get about 4.5 minutes of flight. Now, this is pretty heavy. This is around 28 grams. You know, obviously I took it apart already, but I weighed it before. It was about a little over 28 grams. And, you know, together with the 1S Lipo, you know, you definitely weigh over 30 grams. It's going to be heavier as well with the 1S 550, but basically you're not going to be doing much acro with this thing. So if you're thinking, I want to buy this for freestyle racing, probably I would say don't. Now, if you're looking for more freestyle on a 1S setup, go for the Meteor65 Pro HD 04. I'll have a review on that one later, of course. But yeah, you could do a little, you know, few flips and rolls here and there, but definitely doesn't have the power to come out of any kind of complicated freestyle maneuvers. I think this is going to be mainly for indoor flights and maybe like, you know, going through obstacles, that kind of thing. It does have a pretty good pitch tune, so it seemed like it was in pretty good control. I was flying outdoors at this park here, you know, going through the playground, no problem hitting any kind of gaps I wanted, even with a little bit of a breeze. So definitely no issues with the pitch tune or the flying. The capabilities seem fine. It's just that it is underpowered because of the extra weight. Because basically you're flying around an 04 air unit that weighs about 9.5 grams, plus all the extra parts. And yeah, at this prop size, only on 1S, not ideal. It's good. It's fine for cruising, fine for capturing cinematic footage, you know, just kind of cruising around casually at the park. No problem for that. But anything beyond that, I would say get something with a little bit bigger prop. And ideally, 2S is where you want to go. So if you're looking for freestyle, I would wait until you see my Pavo Femto video. That's going to be a 2S setup on the biggest prop. I think that's like a 45 millimeter propeller or 40 millimeter propeller, and that should be the best candidate for freestyle. However, at the end of the day, if you're ultimately hell-bent on doing 1S with the 04 Lite, you're definitely going to have to get this Matrix 1S HD board. You can clearly go to like up to probably a 3-inch propeller without any problems on that 12 amp ESC. So that's what I would recommend. You can I'll link the flight controller down in the video description if you don't want to go the route of getting everything all together. Obviously, the pricing is really attractive, especially from BETAFPV. You get this whole thing here is $200, and you know that the 04 Lite is $110 by itself. And then they sell the, if you just want to go plug and play and buy the 04 Lite by yourself, you can pick up the plug and play for $80 and then add your own 04 Lite for $110. That's going to be $190 total. So yeah, if you want to do the DIY route, you can do that as well. The Matrix board is also only like $40, which is not bad for a 1S board with that 5 amp or 5 volt 3 amp BEC. So definitely a lot of interesting stuff here. I'll link everything down in the video description, and of course there'll be more content coming on this channel as well as the second channel on all this stuff. But yeah, let me know what you want to see going forward down in the comments below, and we'll leave the video here as it's kind of getting long, and we'll have a lot more content going into the future. But that'll do it for this one, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.